Hello everyone. It's James again. And in today's video I really want to speak to you men out there. This is something very serious. And something you want to think about. You see, I get messages from time to time from straight men who say they are going to isolate themselves from women. Due to things in life unfairly favoring women. They may have an angry attitude about all women in general. And are willing to take extreme actions to have no part of any woman at all. First, I want to say, I respect a person's right to make life choices for themselves. Just as I hope others respect me and my life choices. That being said, the type of isolation lifestyle is something I do not live or take part in myself. Nor can I recommend it to others. First, before I tell you why, I want to start by saying, many people don't know that this type of reaction by some males is the very reaction that those that created the agenda against men are wanting. You heard me right. This type of isolation reaction is the reaction that those that created this agenda against men wanted all along. And I don't think many have peeled the layers back that far to be able to see this fact. Now don't get me wrong. The laws are screwed up. And those laws were screwed up on purpose by those that have power to get your women to turn against you. If you learn anything about any slave culture, even back in ancient times, the slave masters learned the best way to control their slaves was to demean the men in front of the women, and then put those same women in charge of the men. You know, there is a saying, we are now just slaves with invisible chains and bars. But guess what? The same type of psychology is being used on you. The first part of the agenda was to get women to abandon their home, their children, and their husband. And the ones that didn't want to go along with this were name-called and bullied until they complied. These people know the best way to get others to get on board when they don't want to, is to get everyone around them to ridicule them for not doing what everyone else is doing. People by nature want to fit into society and don't want to feel like outcasts. So even though it doesn't seem right to abandon their family, everyone else is doing it. So they sadly went along with this toxic mess, so they could fit into society. You had women marching in the streets, screaming to the top of their lungs that all men were evil and rapist, so forth and so on. And you have to wonder, did these women that were so radical and were on the front lines, did they even desire men to begin with? The reality is many of them didn't. But the goal was to get the ones that did away from their men and homes, and to adopt a different way of living. Now you have men looking at the women that did all of this as the problem, and that somehow women are the problem in general. I will tell you that's what those that created the agenda want you to think. The truth is those that put these women up to carrying signs screaming all men are rapists weren't women at all. They were men that financed these women all in the name of breaking up the family unit. And it's so sad. No matter how many times this is pointed out and talked about, there are many that act like they never even hear it. Because if people paid attention to this fact, they would be able to realize they've been played for a fool. Both men and women. Now we are in the second phase of things, where there are some men that sadly accept their second-class role to the women in their life. They accept they have to spend large amounts of money to be with a woman. They will even affectionately say, well, she's the boss. If she wants to go to Las Vegas for the weekend with the girls, she goes. And I'm sorry to say, these types of males get cheated on regularly but live in denial. And they have bought the big fat lie that it's all about trust. Because any rational person knows a woman doesn't go to Las Vegas with the girls for anything else than to meet single males. But if you repeat a lie long enough, people start to believe it. The lie being, no matter what bad thing a woman is doing, a woman that is committed to another man, I might add, that it's all about trust. When in reality it's called the man is living in denial, he's being cheated on. But hey, everyone else is living like this, so let's not rock the boat. Then you have the males that partially woke up. And if you are in the category I'm about ready to describe, please don't take offense. I'm just sharing information on the hows and whys. It's up to you what you do with this information. So what I mean by partially awoke is, there's some males that realize the laws are in favor of the women. They may have experienced it firsthand, through a divorce or child support, and realize the game is fixed in the woman's favor. So some of these males take extreme action to isolate themselves from any and all interactions from women. Now the reason why I say partially awoke is that many of these males don't realize that by them isolating themselves they are fulfilling the outcome of those that created this agenda 30 or 40 years ago. This agenda that was broken down into phases to utterly destroy the family unit. There was once a time that majority of people were born into a married household with a mother and father. Not anymore. Most people are born in divorced homes where the mother is paid by the courts to keep the father out of the child's life. Because by doing this it will breed a generation of socially confused children that will one day become adults that will be easy to mold and easy to morally corrupt. The first phase was to turn women against men. Now we are in the phase where they are turning men against women. The reality is this. We were made to be social, to have friends, and to seek out a life partner. And it's those that created this agenda that are trying to steal it from you. Your right to just be normal. Because they feel that males will never speak out in one voice. Because I tell you this. All it would take is males and females making video after video saying we have had enough of this mess. Making our points in a smart, intelligent way. Not in a crazy, fanatic way. Because again, the crazy, fanatic way is exactly what they want. When they hear men talking crazy and violent, they love it. They meaning those that created this agenda. Because it ensures nothing legitimate will ever come at trying to make a positive change. But if millions and millions spoke up and said we know the game and we want things fixed, things would change for the better. But those that created the agenda believe that will never happen. Because that means people would have to step outside the social norm. So those that created this agenda now have us in split up homes. Women abut men. Some men happy with their captivity and that live in denial. And some men that are now isolationist. But there's another kind of male out there. There's a third kind of male. And that's the male that peeled back the layers to the agenda's origin. And he realizes that the entire thing has been for one purpose. And that's to stop the family dead in its tracks. To keep males from being successful fathers. And to turn women into a man's master. This third type of male doesn't get wild up and angry at the drop of the hat when he hears and sees things that are wrong. But he knows the origin of the agenda and sees its sicker and deeper meaning for what it is. He realizes that he's a man. And how he was created was. And is perfect. And that includes his drive to have a partner in a woman. Now, is a woman complete a man? No. 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 If a man thinks that a woman completes him, he's in deep crap. A man has to be content and happy with himself first and foremost. A man has to be comfortable in his own skin. Comfortable with being alone. And has to know how to survive. And part of that survival is knowing the laws and how he can make them work to his benefit. And over time he learns how to protect his assets. But in the end he's a man that desires a woman. He doesn't have to have her to be complete. He isn't begging and pleading for her. But he realizes that interacting with women and having them part of his life is normal. Because he looks around himself and sees that there are those trying to make it act normal for straight men to have a relationship with a woman. Yes, you heard me right. If a man says he's serious with a woman, there must be something wrong with him, right? This third kind of male realizes one important thing. That through all of this mess, the warrior spirit that so proudly led homes for generation after generation has been bred out of many males. And the reason why is those that created this agenda knows this strong male spirit is what helps keep a stable relationship with a woman and his kids. You see, it's normal for a man to desire a woman. That's how us straight males were made. It doesn't matter what law was changed one way or the other. We are who we are. And just like anything in life, there are ways around things. And ways to fix your problems. Even if everything seems stacked against you. You just have to be willing to put in the work to figure out what those things are. And you can't spend your time with women that are about nothing. You have to start spending time with women that bring a positive to your life. I mean, take a look at the women in your past. What positive thing did they contribute to your life? And why would you want to spend year after year with someone that brings nothing positive to your life? It's called programming. It's time to deprogram yourself. You can live any way you choose. Because everyone has that right. But know when you hug a woman and you feel good, it's for a reason. It's because that's how you were made. And that's how you were created. So what do you do now? Put in the life work. Don't only await till life issues surface deep. Look at the hows and why certain agendas were carried out against you and others. Find out who is really behind it. Not just the frontline people. Make changes in your life that will allow you to be who you were created to be. But also learn how to protect yourself at the same time. So when you do spend time with women, you are no longer the type that toxic abusers will seek out. They will see there's no way to get over on you and they will move on to the next victim. You now knowing your self-worth will only be spending time with women that can bring a positive to your life. And being a strong male, you will never be underneath a woman in a relationship, as the slave master has designed. Because they know this is the best way to destroy a home. You will learn and cultivate through time on how to be a born leader. Not only in life, but in your home as well. So those feelings instead of desiring a woman were perfectly put into you. Don't let some creeps that want to control you ruin something so perfect. Like I always say, knowledge is power. The more we know, the more we can live happy, healthy lives. Until next time. Bye for now. And be good to yourself.